You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Welcome, welcome. You make me happy when skies are gray. I'm just going to share this. Sing along with me. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I used to know all the verses to this. What are the rest of the verses? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. I'm going to share on Facebook here. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Welcome, welcome. I'm here for an update. I'm here to share things with you. Happy Saturday. I was going to say some of you might be preparing to go out on the town, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you're not preparing to go out. Maybe you're preparing to stay in. I'm just looking for the group. Hold on. Yes, I will be pulling cards. Thank you for being here. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me. I believe this is working now. I've been having some technological problems. Hello. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Yes, please let me know if you can see me. The best way to do that is to put something in the comments. And as always, I do ask for reciprocation in these videos. And the best way to do that is just put something in the comments. There's so many ways to do it, but just put something in the comments. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Hello, Polly. Oh, I'll put this here so I can see other people who are joining. Let's see. Hello, Polly. I know this is coming up in a couple of groups, so thank you for being here. I love you all. You're awesome. We're almost ready to go. There's something I want to share with you today, and it's kind of a big thing that I hear a lot. I do spiritual guidance sessions, and I also do spiritual guidance sessions, and I also do Black mentorship sessions for those who are working through this, trying to create anti-racist culture in their lives. And I had a couple last full days, and something that comes up quite a bit. Hello, hello, welcome. Something that comes up quite a bit is the people who are wanting to have the really tough conversations with their family members, with their friends, with their communities. There's a lot of people who are sort of losing family. They're losing their families because of how we've sort of all been set up in the... Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to replay this out loud. People are losing their family members because of what they're experiencing in this change in the world. And so this is the first thing I want to talk about. And yes, if you're just joining me, hello, JC, hello. Going out, she says, nah. Yeah. Hopefully nobody's going out right now. But, to each his own. People are going to do, or her own. People are going to do what they want to do. Hello, Jessica. Thank you for joining us. So, Imani, hello, peace and freedom. Been home all day and night. Walked across the driveway to get mail 3 p.m. So she went out. That's what going out is now. Okay. All right. So for those of us who are engaging in tough conversations, there are people who are, there's a lot of grief that's being experienced right now because we are noticing that lines are being drawn in the sand. I certainly have drawn some lines in the sand. And we are experiencing people in our lives who we don't agree with and are and we're losing communities, and we're losing connections to communities and families. I prefer to think of it as taking a break. It doesn't mean that you don't ever talk to those people again. It doesn't mean that they're out of your life forever, but there is some grief involved. in building this new world. Having said that, a lot of people want to be in conversations with either communities or people that are very are clinging to an old way of thinking, are clinging to things like all lives matter and black on black crime and why are we destroying our history, and they're clinging to some ideas that for us we might be like, that's racist and that's ignorant and whatever, right? And that might be true, and that you might have a lot of people agree with you. I certainly feel, I definitely feel I get repelled when I see those types of ideas. Hello, Todd. Hello, Tara. Welcome. I'm about to talk about peaceful warrior and how all of us are being called to being peaceful warriors and what that means to me, because this is a button word that you hear everywhere. And I just want to talk about what it means to me. And then I'll answer questions. I'll pull cards for people who show up. And you can put those questions in even now if you want. I'll get to them in just a minute. So we're being faced with this phenomenon of division, right? And yes, thank you for the hearts and the comments. Thank you for reciprocating by boosting this video. And so I'm asking all of you to first recognize who you are. You are born here to be here right now. Your ancestors and spirits made you specifically in this way to be here specifically at this time to do this work in this time of great conflict, in this charged chasm of division and unity and us all trying to find balance with each other. At the same time, the world is on fire and flooding and shaking. All of our institutions that we relied on are falling apart. It's probably a good thing. The world is literally burning down, and we are seeing the truth of everything. No one can hide from the truth. Not an institution, not a person, not with money, not with wool over your eyes. No one can hide. So a lot of us have this power waking up within us. A lot of us are finding out who we really are. There's this thing in us that's like, this is who I really am. And it's coming to the surface. A lot of us are finding like, wow, I want to be more purpose. I don't know how to engage with this, but I know that it's important for me to do it. I need support in that. And I'll tell you, I mean, this is where my work comes from. It's with your ancestors and your spirit. This is what I teach. This is the way of all of our ancestors. It is the way of all of our ancestors, is to work with our ancestors and to work with spirit. And I'm going to say it here now, and I'm going to keep saying it. And that is, if you don't start this work now, you will start it in the next year. Either you start this work now willingly, which is building a relationship with your ancestor, fully integrating with your spirit, or you will be forced to within the next year. So, and that can be as graceful or ungraceful as you want it to be, as you allow it to be. So back to these conversations, because this is what came up in this is what's come up this whole month. And what I'm seeing also with friends as well. And that is having these conversations with the friends and family that are just digging in on what we're calling racism and digging in on views that are completely opposing to ours and setting us back and making it hard for us to create unity and progress and change. Okay. And so where do I want to go with this? And so what happens is when we get into these conversations and we have like, it might be our best friend or it might be like our even our own dad. And hey, Molly, hey, how's it going? Welcome. Or Mary, welcome. What ends up happening is, they'll say the thing, whatever the thing, maybe it's all lives matter. This is one that a lot of us are coming up against and is common. Say it's like you're saying all Black lives matter. I want to be part of this. And they're saying, no, all lives matter. And, they're digging in. For a lot of us, that brings up this feeling of just like, really? Like, why? What? I don't understand. Or it brings up like this wanting to like judge or whatever it is, embarrassment, whatever it is. Right? Yeah, I'm getting hearts. So I'm on the right track. Let me know. Let me know, because I don't know unless you comment or give me thumbs up. Please light it up so I know that you're with me. Especially in the comments. And so a lot of people right now are experiencing this discourse and also grief, and also I don't know what I'm going to do. Hey Brian, how's it going? And also like exiting their families, not showing up for family stuff. And yet there's still this part of us that's like, but I need to be I am the one who's going to open this door for them. I am, maybe it is my job to stick with it, and I don't know how. And that's where we have to be peaceful warriors. The war is happening right now. The war is a psychological war. It's a spiritual war. That's the war we're in. We don't have to fight it the way that we've seen wars being fought in the past. We don't have to fight it like this. We don't have to fight it like this. We can fight it peacefully. And if you're born in this time, and if you are finding yourself being very aware of the urge inside you to do something, especially those hard conversations, it's not just about having a hard conversation. We're talking about your blood. For a lot of us, you're talking about your blood or the people you've had loyal friendships with for a long time. Yes, grief, Tara is saying. Yeah. And yes, thank you for talking about this. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the comments. I promise I will get to the card pulls in just a minute. I will get to the card pulls. So this is my suggestion to you as far as entering into this energy that's within you, because so many of us were born warriors on this planet in this time. And that is, when you approach someone who is digging into something that makes you embarrassed or makes you instantly judge or makes you feel shame or whatever it is first to imagine them as a child. Imagine them as a small child. Now, I'm not going to get into the very specific demographics of who you're talking to, whatever, but imagine them as a small child who has been picked up. They've been taken care of. They know who they are. They're expansive. They're living their life. They're in love. Not in love, but they're living in their love. They are in love. They are sure of who they are. Even small children are sure of who they are. There's no doubts about who they are. They're just who they are. Imagine when you're talking to these people as small children who just get picked up, and they're full of love and they're happy and they're excited about everything, and they don't even question their identity as a human being. And then you plop them down in the middle of a war zone. Buildings falling down, bombs going over their head. No sign of food or someone to help them. Loud noises everywhere. People constantly approaching them, soliciting them. That's how you have to imagine. That's how you have to imagine these people in your family. They don't understand the new world that's coming. They don't have to question themselves. They don't have to be in that type of self-awareness that maybe you've already been practicing or you've recently woken up to. For them, they are feeling the war just like us, but they don't have the same tools. They might not be challenging the shitty education system that we've all gone through here in this country, that has educated them into a white supremacy. All of us have. All of us got screwed by it. All of us has been educated into it. So first, when you approach them like that, and understand that this is part of you being a peaceful warrior. You have to see that you can't see them as learned and responsible. In your approach, you can't look at them as learned and responsible knowledgeable adults. You must speak to them that way, but you have to imagine them as small children who are unsupported in a war zone. That's how you have to imagine them. When you talk to them and they're saying all lives matter, and they're saying, you know, whatever it is, your job is only to reveal truth. And this is where you're gonna feel the war, right? You're gonna feel yourself being like, I don't want to hear any of this. This is so dumb, but you know, you're gonna hear all sorts of excuses. Yeah, you're gonna hear things that are like eugenics. You're gonna hear things like you're gonna hear, especially for those of us who are dealing with family who's older than 60, right? You're going to hear all sorts of things that might fully disgust you, that might make you want to hang up the phone, that might make you just want to be like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? And the thing is that if you really want to make a change, you want to be in these conversations, you have to be able to approach these conversations. I'm talking about your family members, right? I'm talking about these people that you care about, that you know that you have this urge, and you know that you want to be the person who opens the door for them, right? This really, you can apply this anywhere, but I'm talking specifically about your job as a peaceful warrior, as someone who speaks for the evolution of your family. You dig? So when you approach this conversation, no matter what you're hearing out of their mouth, Polly, I got you. I saw your comment. What you're hearing out of their mouth, your job is to reveal truth, is to not speak or approach them with judgment, without agenda even, except for to reveal truth, without an agenda that says like, oh, you're going to think this by the end of the conversation. It's only to reveal truth. Without being suggestive, just ask questions. Why do you think? When you say all lives matter, why do you think that's more important than Black Lives Matter right now? Why do you think they're saying Black Lives Matter? Oh, because they're uneducated and they've been confused by the system. How do you think they got confused by the system? Like, what are you looking at that says they're confused? Keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, because you're going to find a seed. You're going to find a seed of truth. And in that moment, in that conversation, they might not change, right? They might not change in that moment. But unless they're without empathy, they're going to remember that in this war that they're in, there was somebody who they know opposes them, because if you probably have had the conversations previous to this where they realize that you're in opposition. But if you're in opposition with this person and they sort of associate you with the enemy, and you come to them with peace as a peaceful warrior, and you keep opening the door and allowing them to lead and finding the seed without judgment, without shame, without guilt, without whatever, and you open that door, they will not forget. They will then have an experience of feeling like they are this scared child. They're holding on, they're clinging on to something, like all lives matter. Tell me, Lauren, right? They're holding on to this stuff. And they just had an experience of peace with the opposition. You can give that to them. And you can have that conversation with them over 10 times over. One, it's going to help heal you. One, it's going to show you how to be a peaceful warrior. One, it's going to show you how to then have these conversations with other people in your communities and other family members. It's also going to speak to their heart. They will be more open to seeing something different than what they saw before. They will see that this psychological and the spiritual war that we are all in is maybe not as scary as they think. They might be more open to someone else having the conversation with them, right? And if anybody else, especially for those of you who are feeling like you are the one in your family that needs to turn things around, there are other people in your family who feel the same way. Even if they're not fully there in the way you are yet, other people watching this happen, other people receiving this energy, you will be leading them. And what I'm talking about conceptually sounds like, okay, A, B, and C, you got it. But this is part of the war. This is part of your fight in the war, and you can do it peacefully. So, I'm going to read the comments. If you need a question, I'm open to a message from my ancestors. Polly, ask, please, yes. And please, I'm open to questions. Now is the time to put your questions in. It can really be about anything. It doesn't have to be about your ancestors. It can be about anything that you want to ask questions about. Now is the time to put them in the comment box. I'll do some readings from these cards here. Polly, I'll start with yours in just a minute. Tara says, this hits so hard. Blessings to you, sweetie. I know. Mary, I need to stay committed. Yes. Part of creating the new world, which is what we're doing, is that we all need to make a lifetime commitment to anti-racist culture, creating an anti-racist culture. That is the simplest way to put it. Part of creating this new world is that we all need to make a commitment to creating an anti-racist culture. Jaya says, hey, sister. Hey, sister. Polly says, my mom and stepdad have thankfully been anti-racist forever. Awesome. JC, must remember to reveal truth, reverse judgment. Some people do not want to be questioned. They don't want to have the conversation. That's correct. Here's a tool for that. Here's a tool for those who do not even want to be in the conversation. This is sort of like the next step of your warrior training. If you still feel that urge where you want to be involved with the conversation with that person, your family, your community, friend, whatever, and they don't want to have the conversation. No, I know what I believe. All lives matter. Candace Owens. Yes. Right. They don't want it. They're dug in. Okay. So with those people, when people are dug in that way, in the way that I think I'm inferring, and I think those of you who are feeling me in this video know what this is. It's like that unbudging. It's that, like, no matter what you say, it could, even in the conversation, you could be like, do you want a glass of water? And they're like, why are you calling me a racist? Right. Or they, you know, as soon as you want to open a conversation, there's just like this energy that's just like, oh, hold on just one second. Ugh. My cat is doing cat things he's not supposed to. Okay. But you know that feeling where it's just like you're hitting the wall, but you still have the urge that you want to be part of this evolution, right? Here's something that you can do. People who are in that place are clinging to fear. People who are in that place, especially right now, there's a lot of people who feel like all of our identities are being challenged right now. They are losing their identity and they're losing power, and they don't even know how to put their finger on that. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. Hello, Jessica, welcome. So when you're in that situation, and thank you everybody for the comments. Thank you for this reciprocation by boosting this video. Thank you. When you're in that situation, the best thing that you can do is pump up their ego. Pump up their ego, or give them a lot of love. Soften them up. See them as powerful. Tell them how you see them, that they're powerful. Here's how it goes. As much as it can kill us to say these things, this is part of being a peaceful warrior and revealing truth. So they're dug in, and they're not budging. They want to fight. They don't even have the conversation. Then it's not about questioning. Then it's about saying, my dearest aunt, I know that we disagree on these things, but I've always respected you in that you are a deep thinker. I've always respected the way you pulled yourself up from nothing and you built an amazing family. And I see all of your creative expression, the way you crochet, your creative expression, the way you light people up when you talk to them. I still have a lot to learn from you. And I don't understand where you're coming from, but I know that there's something here I'm not understanding. So please tell me everything. Tell me everything about why all lives matter. Tell me everything about why you love Candace Owens so much. I want to learn from you. This isn't a lie, friends. You're not saying it just to say it. Really find the love you have for the person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the conversation in the first place. You would have just cut it off. Find the love you have for the person. In some cases, pump up their ego so that they feel good about themselves. There's no lie in saying I have a lot to learn from you. You're not saying specifically what you're going to learn. The content of what they have to say about who they're following and why they're following it might not be important to you. But how they got there is of the utmost importance. It's going to help you understand the poison. It's going to help you find the remedy, not just for them, but for anything that's reflected within you and anybody else who's watching and anybody else who you have this conversation with in the future. You dig? Okay, I'm going to start pulling cards in just a moment. I see that the questions are coming in. Now's the time to put the questions in there. The last thing I want to say in my talk here, which went on a lot longer than I thought. The last thing I want to say in this talk is that, again, if you're born in this time, you were made specifically and on purpose to be in this time, to be in this conflicted time, to be in this war, this psychological and spiritual war we are in. And to get to your next level, to manifest in this new world, to create an anti-racist world, you must come back to the natural ways of life. And that is to work with the divine. And that is to integrate fully with your spirit. And that is to work with your ancestors. You will do it now, or you will be doing it within the year. It can be as graceful or not graceful as you want. It is necessary. This is my message to you. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you, when you finish with this video, or when you see me come up, if you don't have time today, you see me come up in your feed again, please go and check out the class that I'm teaching, working with your spirits and ancestors, working with your ancestors and spirit. It's very basic, building a relationship, integrating with your spirit, claiming your divine rights. It's very basic. We're not doing big ceremonies. You don't have to be a certain religion or religion. It can apply to any practice that you're doing. I'm going to ask you to go and check out that class, working with your ancestors and spirit. We start in July. And also, if you like my videos, I am doing live mentorship from July to August. You work on your own pace, but I am doing live mentorship for you. We will work exactly this same way from July to August. Okay. Early bird pricing ends on Monday. So if you have questions, DM me. Go look today, DM me. Now we're going to get to questions. Okay. This is so helpful. Thank you. I'm glad it is. Hey, sister. Okay. So I went back a little bit. Polly wanted a message to see if there's a message from her ancestors. Hey, Sirka, I feel radiant. I just got out of the shower. So please ask questions in the comments. I'm going to start pulling cards right now. Polly, you're wanting to know about a message from your ancestors. Hey, April, thanks for joining us. A message from your ancestors. Polly, is there anything specific that you're working on right now? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good reciprocation for videos like this is to put comments, share with friends. You can donate. I can send you links for that. That helps too. Home. Okay. I'm going to go with the Cosmic deck. This is the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck, Polly. For everybody else, go ahead and put your if you want a message or a question you have in the comments, now is a good time to do it. Here we go for Polly. Alchemy. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of magic that we hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that has allowed the true alchemist to perform miracles and transmutation. So, Polly, home. You said home. This could mean many things. You could be buying a new home. You could be trying to get home. It could be many things. Is there something, Polly, that is either spooking you or something about that around home that feels like just out of balance for you right now? She says tears. Well, something's working. I'm going to read the card again. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical remembrance of magic that we hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient. Okay, Polly, trying to raise teenagers. You need to call on your. You need to call. Are you? I don't know if maybe you're a fire sign or maybe housing too expensive here. You need to work towards fire is what's coming up. I'm seeing that you're missing some heat. You're working with teenagers. Are you allowing your teenagers to see your full self? Are you working in within something? You need to show them your passion. When we're talking about home, I know that literally there's something that's within you, some passion within you that is stirring, that has not been allowed to be expressed, especially to your teenagers. When we're talking about home in this sense, it's you. You are the home. You are the sanctuary. Is this I'll get to the housing part in a minute, but is this hitting home for you? Let me know. Hello, Charlotte. Welcome. I'm pulling cards. Please put questions in the comments. Yes, it's hitting home. So here's the interesting thing. When we're looking at like the material things of this world, like money and a house and creating a family and all of this, we are definitely, it's important to, think about saving our money and all the things that we need to do to make those things happen. But we also have to do the internal work. And I was just telling somebody about this recently. In order to find the home, and especially a home that is you're talking about being too expensive, finding a home that's within your means. There's something about you as the home, you as the temple, you as the sanctuary, that it's almost as if you are not paying enough attention to taking care of the home you already have in here. And so this is now reflected out into sort of this, not being able to find a home out there. I hope that is helping you, Polly. I think it is. I think I was on the right track. Thank you for the question. I haven't seen another comment here. Oh, I think she says thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So yeah, to get that home, really, it's working on this home that's going on, like whatever you can do to feel like I am a home that is worth putting equity into. I am high value. I can afford to keep the value up of this home. That will allow some of that fire in you to come out, and it will come out in a way that feels secure, and it'll come out in a way that can be accepted by your teenagers. Thank you for the question. That was awesome. Thank you. Okay, next. Literally, like Jaya says, literally like dealing with a narcissistic person. I think that was before when I was talking about. Jaya, do you have a question about that? I mean, I know you have your ways of dealing, I know you're set up well. You have a good internal support system, external support system, but I will pull a card for you if you want to. Mary McGill, you've been very generous. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Allison loves the 3 positive hard truth. Yes, we've talked about this before, about what I talked about in the beginning of this video. For those of you who are just joining, if you want to know about having those hard conversations, go to the beginning of this video when it's done. Regarding ancestors, JC, regarding ancestors, how far are we going back? What if I'm white and I have a blend of ancestry? Can I work with several different ancestors or have a focus? 3 generations back, or imagine ancestors further back? Call them in and see who shows. Okay, for this, I'll just say, you have, so you all have ancestors upon ancestors upon ancestors. You have ancestors upon ancestors upon ancestors. And one of the things that comes up sometimes is like, I don't know if I want to work with some of those ancestors. In my tradition, you don't have, there is some choice that can be afforded to you. And that's really something you do in a very deep divination process, finding out which specific ancestors are walking with you and want to be working with you, which ones you can call upon, especially for us here who do not grow up with practices, spiritual practices with our ancestors. Oftentimes, the first things that you'll experience if you were to go through a big divination and go deeply into ancestral work, which is not what I do in my class. We just do foundation building relationships. You will find that a lot of work that you have to do is doing a lot of family karma cleansing and purification and cutting cords and rebalancing your family, because people haven't been building relationships with their ancestors. People haven't been feeding their ancestors for generations and generations. So that is the work of a lot of, especially if you did not grow up in traditions where you have relations to your ancestors. So, okay, when it comes to specifically the 2 generations back or whatever, again, you have to go to a specific divination process. I don't think it's an integrity to be like, yeah, just work with this one over here. It's not integrity to do that. It can actually, there are ancestors that you think you might want to work with that are actually the ones that will screw up your life. So I'm very careful. And this is why I teach a foundations class, because I want, one part of the foundations class is I tell you the 5 biggest mistakes and the 5 things that will help you the most in the working with your ancestors journey. And no, I do not recommend just calling on them and seeing. I recommend getting mentorship through that, which is what I'm offering through the course. Okay. Sirka. Hello, Sirka. If you're just joining me, thank you. Thank you for being here. I do ask for reciprocation, and that is by putting comments in the box, and hearts and stars. You know, if you want to donate, email me message me and I'll give you a link. Okay, Sirka, and then I see, Jaya, that you did ask a question above. I'll go back. So Sirka, I would love a card pull surrounding what is my next step towards fulfilling my purpose, love, motherhood, or land, whatever comes up. For you, I'm going to pull an archetype card. You and I talk a lot. We work together. So I'm just going to pull a card here for you. I'm going to go with the Carolyn Miss archetype cards. They look like this on the back. Sirka. Avenger. Light attributes, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. I feel like justice, I've talked to you about this before, Sirka. Justice really is, I don't know if you've named it this way, but it is a theme in your life. And when you're talking about what comes next, what are your steps, whether it has to do with love, motherhood, or land, you need to be honored in a way that heals past pain. I want to try to break down this concept because I've never had to break it down in this setting. Maybe it's more complex in my mind than it actually is. So I'm going to give you an example. And maybe this will help break down this complex, because this is going to apply to every single person watching this video. You know, when you have the experience of something that hurts you over and over and over again, and you might go through, you do your self-awareness work, you go into the shadow side, you tap in, you work with a coach, you do what you need to do to heal yourself internally. And even if this experience meets you again in different ways, you handle it better, right? This is one of the juicier parts of the spiritual experiences, when you start to handle the patterns better, and then they don't feel like patterns, and then they sort of kind of go away. Or when they come up, they're like nothing. They're like a blip. And so And so you're in this pattern, you've worked on it, okay. And then something shows up that is so opposite of that pattern that you used to experience, in the way it shows up, in the way you experience it, in how you energetically involve yourself with it. It is such a gift. It is the why of why we are here. And it's usually unexpected. And it not only answers this longing or imbalance or need within us that was causing a pattern before, that not only does it satisfy you, but it heals any residual anything. It rebalances any residual thing that happened in your past around that, the pattern before. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. I'll give you a quick example. Before I understood who I was, and before I had really great boundaries, and before who I am now is who I am now, I had a pattern of men who'd show up, try to go hard and fast and like want to get married and want to travel and want to move me into their house and want to do all the things. Like they just come in fat, like they show up in their freaking tuxedo for marriage, right? And I'd be like, and I learned over time to be like, slow down. Let's just enjoy the moment. Like, let's slow down. And it seemed like this is the pattern. It seemed like every time I was like, oh, yeah, I do want these things, they freak out and they leave, sometimes violently, sometimes, but a lot of times they just ghost. And so I found out more about myself and the effect that I have. And I just found I worked, for years on my relationship to that pattern, whatever. And years later, it happened. So it hadn't happened for years. And then it happened again. And I was in a completely different place. And when it happened, when this ghosting happened, I was just like, all right, yeah, that's what happens sometimes, and went on with my life. A year later, that man came back and he texted me this long apology. First time I'd ever gotten an apology for that type of behavior. I wasn't searching for it. I hadn't talked to him forever. And that apology, I so can relate. This makes sense. Absolutely. This is so amazing. Good. I'm glad you're hearing this. When I got that apology, it dipped into this thing that I thought I had rebalanced and was kind of over. It dipped into like all of those experiences, each one. And it was like, this is healed. This is finished. This has been righted. This is okay. And in that apology, it was what he needed to say. It was what I didn't know I needed to hear. And also in that apology was some extra stuff too, that I was like, whoa, it's almost as if he had been listening. It's almost as if someone had delivered information into his head about when this has hurt me in the past and said some of the things that back then I wish those people had said to me. This is justice. And the only way that I was able to achieve that was to, one, work on myself. That's such a general thing, to work on myself, but also to proceed with everything that I want, that I've had bad patterns over, to proceed with everything that I want to manifest for myself, whether it's love, motherhood, or land, or whatever comes up, with the absolute knowledge that, one, it's going to work out for me, that I'm not going to compromise on anything, and that if anything comes at me within this framework of love, motherhood, or knowledge, or land, that if anything doesn't quite work out, I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm not going to attach to it. I'm just going to work through it and keep going. Because eventually this will create a justice in my life. And that is when the motherhood that you want comes in. That is when the love comes in and the land comes in. Does this make sense? Angel, hello. Chip, hello. Okay, does this make sense? I'm looking for Jaya's question right now. Thank you so much, Sirka. That was a good question. I really hope that I was able to answer that correctly. Okay, next question is from Jaya Rose. Jaya. I would love a card. I'm curious about the insights to where my medicine is most potent right now. I'm also going to go with the archetype card for you. Jaya, if you don't know her, check her out online. Jaya Rose. She's a powerful coach and speaker for the healing and building of this new world. And we're going to do an interview on a podcast pretty soon, I think. Okay, Jaya. Where is my medicine most potent right now? Hello, welcome. Put your questions in the comment box. Jaya, detective. Great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek truth. Okay, girl. So I've seen your Facebook page, which everybody should go check out. And I feel like this is just a validation. This is just a validation of what you're already doing. Where I would say you can bump this up is even when you feel super strong in your conclusions of what this is and what I believe and what I'm going to teach and how it's going to look. And this is how I feel about this thing. Always remember to consciously leave a door open for something better. I think you already do that. But maybe step that up a little bit more. I see that you already do that, but maybe just always remember, as we build this new world, we are moving into different dimensions. And it's important to remind yourself, like almost train yourself, like in a Pavlovian way, no matter how firm you feel about something, to remind yourself, and the door's open for something better. Yeah? Legit, she says. Did that hit it home, Jaya? I hope so. Okay, and I think I'm reading some of your other comments. You said, oh, no, I got that. Oh, you said, I'm launching a program and feel a deep call to make sure I'm showing up with my business and the movement. Yeah, and we can talk about that further too. All right. Hi, Tara, your husband and your daughter. Hello. If your daughter or husband has a question, they can do that. I'm going to answer a few more here. Charlotte Marie Wood. Charlotte, let me know if you're still here. How can I be a better service to my community beyond my children? It's a great question. Oh, let me go back. Jaya's asking, leave a door open for a new perspective. Jaya, I'm saying leave the door open so oftentimes, like you're very strong and you're very assertive in how you communicate. And I see that you're flexible. And this is just saying that when you don't get sucked into absolute truth is a different way to say it. So when you, I keep seeing a swimming pool, but like more like a pond with stones. So when you land on something, okay, like when you drop a stone into like a pond and it creates the ripples, right? And like we tend to want to see these, like, we're attracted to like these perfect ripples, right? These perfect ripples. And then when it hits the edge of the pond, the ripples start coming back and creating cross sections. And then we get these fractals, right? And then it goes out and these fractals. Right now, we're in this place where we're moving into more dimensions. And when we land on like a very clear thought or a very clear, like, this is what it is, this is who I am, this is what I think, this is how I'm going to do it. It's important to have those thoughts. It's important to have those perspectives about ourselves, but also it's important to be open to sort of all the fractals, all the deeper truths, all the better perspectives about where you're going with it, and to always have the door open to the fact that somebody else might have also dropped that stone in that pond, and that you're going to hit a different truth faster than you thought. In other words, be flexible, right? Which you are. But for some reason, that's what this card has been pulling up for me about your question. I hope that makes sense. Got a little metaphorical there. Mahalo, mama. Okay. I know I missed a few questions in here. I'm going to go back. April. No, it was somebody else that I was answering. Who was I answering? And I skipped over you. I'm so sorry. Gyros. Yes to fractals. Feel it. Okay, good. I'm glad you're getting it. I was answering somebody else's questions. I'm sorry. I skipped over that person. Charlotte, are you here, Charlotte? Yes, she's here. How can I be a better service to my community beyond my children? Hello, Charlotte. I love this question because this is one of the things that I think is sometimes hard for parents, for us as parents. I'm not a parent, but it is hard to like have all the responsibility of your kids. It's such a big responsibility to have skin in the game. Oh my God. And then to also be thinking about your community sometimes feels like when, where, how, right? And then we realize, thinking about the community actually serves my children as well. But I'm glad to hear that representation of parent also thinking about, okay, beyond my children. So thank you, Charlotte, for that. Should I stop talking to the person I'm involved with, says Sonia? Okay, I'll get to that. Okay, Charlotte. Charlotte, for you, conception. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation brings... let me start over. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Charlotte, are you trying to create something? One of the best ways to be of service in what you want to see, whether it's creating an anti-racist world, whether it's, feeding people who are houseless, or whatever you're drawn to the most at this time, all things are connected. The best way to do that when you're thinking of community, which will then serve your children, is to build something or be a part of something that is active, that you can get them active in it with you. So for example, over here on Burnside Bridge, I think it's paused right now, but they do the thing where every other Thursday, I think they feed and cut hair, and they bring their kids to just play checkers and like hang out with homeless people and just give them some sort of semblance of family, right? It could be that you include I don't know how old your kids are. It could be that you include your kids in some of the harder conversations. Conception is suggesting that you need to create something and have them be a part of it that serves your community. That's what birthing something, right? Or no, conception is not birth, excuse me. It's the starting of something. I'm holding space for those who don't feel seen. How do you get your kids involved with that? It could be anything. It could be some sort of way where they're 4 and 7. So, okay. So it could be something where you start conversations that you record with them. It doesn't have to be video, but you start conversations with them. Take the work that you're doing where you hold space for those who don't feel seen. How do you pare it down for them? Have them give their input. Have them talk to them in a way where you can help them develop their own programming that then helps people around them. And maybe you bring that into a community space. Maybe you teach a class together. 4-year-olds and 7-year-olds in other cultures teach. They are teachers. In many other cultures, they are as much of teachers as someone who is 60 or 80. Another thing that's being called for, that is a direct message from all of our ancestors, is this connection that we have with our elders. We tend to lose this multi-generational sharing of wisdom and teaching. I love you too, Charlotte. I'm so glad that worked for you. I love you too. I love you all. I love you all. Before I go on to the next questions, I have a few more. Before I go on to the next questions, I just want to remind you all Thank you for the reciprocation. Part of living well, a tenet of living well is reciprocation. Part of reciprocation that I'm asking for is that you either tag your friends in this post or you boost the post by lots of comments. The comments can just be like, yes, I see this. Thank you. Big love to you. I understand. This is so powerful. Whatever it is in the comments, whether you're watching the video now or watching it later. I know some of you can pick it up later. And then you could also donate. That's something you can do too. I didn't put a donation link on there, but you just message me. I'll give that. Last thing is I'm offering mentorship in my class, working with ancestors, your ancestors in spirit. This is essential work. Essential work for all of us who are building something, who are building a new world, who are doing anti-racist work, who are feeling those powers within us, those urges within us wake up, who are looking for self-healing, who are looking to manifest that thing they want to manifest. I ask you to go to my website, go to courses, check out the class, Working with Your Spirits and Working with Your Ancestors and Spirits, and at least check it out and see if it's for you. I think it probably is, but if it's for you, and join us. I will do live mentorship with you starting in July. Okay. I know there's like 3 other questions in here. There might be more. I'll tell you what, if I missed your question, put it in there again, because now there's so many. My daughter has a question. She was in an environment which made her not like herself very much. She wants to know if a card might help. Yeah. If you're first of all, this is a life lesson for you. Daughter of Tara. I'm sorry. I think I said Tara. Daughter of Tara. If you're ever in an environment in which you do not like yourself very much, that environment is not for you. Here's a nuance. It doesn't always mean that the content of the environment is wrong or right. It's the energy that's in the environment. So you're in an environment in which you did not like yourself very much. Your job is to always walk away from that environment. That's your job now. It'll be your job when you're 30. It'll be your job when you're 70, when you're 80, and into your next life. Get out of the environment. The reason you get out of the environment is because you need to self-reflect. Is it because not being in that environment, me not liking myself in that environment, was it because of something they said? What was it that they said? Was it true? Did I do something to cause that? Am I missing something here? Was I in integrity? Did I come in my truth? Did I do something that was unacceptable? Was I being kind? You have to self-reflect, because sometimes we don't like ourselves in an environment because of nastiness going on out there. And sometimes we don't feel good in our environment because of nastiness going on in here. Sometimes both. The reason you need to leave is because you need to self-reflect. You are the lead in your life. You create the world. Also, we're in a world right now where there's a lot of stuff coming to the surface. There's a lot of people who are scared. All of our good stuff is coming to the surface, like our powers and our gifts, and a lot of our nasty stuff that we don't necessarily want to deal with is coming to the surface. And I'm going to tell you, Mother, I'm going to tell you, Tara, and also Daughter, if you go to my website, there's a free class. It's called Unstuck, Remedy for Internal Toxicity. And that class, it's a video class, it's an audio class. Okay, it's like 45 minutes. There's an audio to tell you what to do exactly in the situation you're talking about. And there's a bonus audio that you can put on your iPod or your iPhone, whatever phone you have, and it'll walk you through the process real quick. So like if you're at school and you feel that way, or if you're at a party or you're in a place where you can't like go home, then you can like turn on that 3-minute audio that helps you after you've gone through the class, that helps you exactly with this, so that you can take care of yourself all the time. Okay. I'm going to draw a card for you to help you know what archetype to draw on when these things happen to you. And then I'll go on to some more questions. Teacher. Ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Communicating knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom doesn't always happen the way we see teachers in school, right? So we have teachers in school, they're standing and they're telling you. Because we're in this world where everybody's stuff is coming up, the good and the bad and the ugly, right? Your ability to take care of yourself and have that self-awareness, which is not taught in school, which is not taught in every community, you're exemplifying that will teach other kids to do that, will teach other people around you to do that. Take care of yourself first. Be selfish in taking care of yourself first. And self-reflection is part of that. It always has to be. If you take care of yourself without self-awareness and self-reflection, then that's when it gets kind of rotten. When you have self-reflection, self-awareness, that's when you can be real selfish. You're the lead in this world. You get the fruits of what we're creating right now. There will be ones after you that will look up to you. They're already here on earth now. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for the question, daughter of Tara. Okay. Sonia, are you still here with us? Let me know and I'll get to your question. Tara, wow. Ebonique, hello. Hello. It was her school. Wow. Okay, so Tara, I think what I'm hearing is that was helpful. I think, okay, so I have a couple more questions here. I have a few more questions here. Sonia, let me know in the comments if you're here. I'll get to your question. Yes, Sonia's here. Sonia. Should I stop talking to the person I'm involved with? Do you want to be involved with them? Are you trying to break up with someone? I mean, you can't. April, I see your question. Thank you for putting it back in here. Sonia, wait a minute. If you don't want to be involved with them, should I stop talking to the person I'm involved with? Sonia! What? Before I pull a card, Sonia, how do you feel when you're with them? Yes. Sonia, how do you feel when you're with them? Sonia. I mean, if you stop talking to them, you probably can't be involved with them. Okay, I'm going to wait for your answer before I pull a card, but listen to me. I'm a love attraction coach. I don't put that title up very, very often. You can find it on my website, but I'm a love attraction coach. It's so much of the spiritual work I do is with women who are working through their relationships. I feel good, she says. Wait, are you in a relationship that you feel good in, but you've gotten a message somewhere that you should stop talking to them? So I want to tell you something that I pass on to anybody who's dealing with like strife in their relationship or like, imbalance or whatever, discourse in their relationship. And that is take some time for yourself and go and figure out what it is that you want to feel in a relationship, what's important to you in a relationship, like really get it together. When we were together, it felt good when you were together. Okay. I'm not sure the whole situation. I don't want to dig in too much because I know this is a public forum. So listen to this advice first, and then I'll pull a card for you. In whatever relationship, friendship, whatever the relationship is, friendship, romantic relationship, if you're unsure about what's going on, what you do is you take yourself out of it for a minute. I don't mean like break up or at that point, but take yourself out of it to sit with yourself. Give it a good couple hours. Take care of yourself, get yourself in a nice, juicy mood. And then sit down and decide really what is it that you want in a relationship. Aim high. Aim high. You think you're aiming high, aim higher. Women, especially my straight women, aim higher than that. Higher. Okay? And talk to you. So write it down and then talk to yourself about what you bring to the table in a relationship. There's more than you think. There's way more than you think. Go past the materialism and just what you look like. There's more than you think. Write that down. Get clear on that. Conceptualize a little bit. Get real specific and then bring it down to the concepts. And then also add how you want to feel. I want to feel respected. I want to feel like I can tell my truth and live in my truth. I want to feel like our disagreements help us both get higher. I want to feel like I'm always emotionally supported. I want to feel like like this person has my back even when they're not in front of me, right? Once you get all that, then this is the measure by which you look at all of your relationships. If it doesn't fit the bill, then don't get so close. Don't get so bonded. Maybe take a break. Maybe break up. Maybe figure out your exit plan if you can. Or if you don't have an exit plan, which I know some people are in that situation, figure out how you can take care of yourself better. You're worthy of it. Every single one of you are worthy of taking care of yourself better. We are in a system, the old world system, that continues to tell us, especially women, that we don't have time to take care of ourselves, that our bodies are broken, that we are not enough, and that we should accept and hold the weight for everyone around us, especially men. And that's bullshit. And there's no room for that in the new world. And we are the leaders. So we have to realize that about ourselves. And it starts within us and our relationships. Okay, Sonia, I'm pulling a card for you. Communication. As you're asking if you should talk to a person or not. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of truth, to stay in the flow of source and balanced exchange. This is what I want you to do. Before you talk to this person next, and over the next few times that you talk to this person, before you do it, I want you to sit in your heart just for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I want you to sit. I want you to connect to your heart. The best way to do that is you breathe. I hope you breathe and you just tap here a little bit and you think about something you appreciate, something that you have gratitude for, something you care about, or something that you can have compassion for. Care, compassion, gratitude, appreciation. One of those things, just for a few minutes. I have a meditation in this, by the way, and I keep meaning to put it on my website. So please do get on my list. And one day I will send it out to you. I can't keep up with all the amazing stuff that's happening in this world right now. So get into your heart. This helps you get into your heart. And then in your mind, imagine talking to this person and saying everything that you want to say that needs to be said with grace. It doesn't mean be overly nice. It doesn't mean hold back on something that needs to be said. It doesn't mean compromise yourself. But sit in your heart. Meditate, open your heart up. Let it be the lead by meditating on passion, compassion, care, appreciation, or gratitude. That's what you do first. And then imagine the person in front of you and say everything you want to say with grace. When you approach somebody and do that, their reaction, because you're going to be in your heart, their reaction is going to tell you everything you need to know about what you need to do moving forward. Do not compromise yourself. Remember, you sat before and decided everything that you want in a relationship, all your relationships and what's appropriate for you. Do not compromise yourself. Okay. Thank you, Sonia. That was a great question. I hope that was helpful to you. I'm going back. There was someone named Ebonique. So I'll do Ebonique and then I see April is still here waiting patiently. Ebonique and April have been waiting patiently. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Again, I asked for reciprocation. Part of living well is asking for reciprocation. Don't forget to do that for yourselves. The reciprocation for me is to give me feedback in all of you, even if it's not your question, put feedback in the comments. Whatever the feedback is, put it in the comments. That helps boost the video. Another way you can reciprocate is sharing this video with somebody who, Sonia says, thank you. All right. We got it. Another way you could do that is sharing this video or sharing any of my videos on my Alexandra Loves page online. Sharing any of my videos with people, tagging anybody, help me get the message out. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, right? And then also you can donate if you want. That's also a good way if that feels good to you. Just message me real quick, and I will send you a link for that. They're all over my pages, but I'll send you a link for that. Ebonique, what message does my ancestor have for me? First thing I'll say. Oh, first, Ebonique, are you here? Are you still here, Ebonique? Ebonique, are you here? April says it's worth the wait. I feel so special. Thank you. Thank you. Ebonique, 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 Ebonique. Are you here? Let me know if you're here, sister. Let me know if you're here. I'll wait for just 1 second. I'll remind people of this. Please go check out my course. It's open all the time, all the time, all year round. I'm going to do live mentorship. It looks kind of like this. For those of you who are working with your ancestors, want to learn how to work with your ancestors in spirit, it's very foundational. It's for anybody, no matter what tradition you're in or practicing. Please go look at that course. There's split pay and all that good stuff. But you work on your own time. But there's also mentorship that I'm doing between July and August. Okay. Ebonique is here. Everyone's answer is the answer for the rest of us somehow. Yes, that's true. Okay, Ebonique. What message does my ancestors have for me? And I always tell people this, that I can't, it sounds like you have maybe a specific one in mind. I'll tell you whenever I'm working with people, either in a private session or in something like this, that the message that you might get, and I'm going to do this through the cards, whatever message you might get, I do not claim it from any specific ancestor, because I don't think it's an integrity for me in this setting to call upon a specific ancestor. However, whatever message does come through, it's the most important one for you to hear in this moment. Okay. Mentor, Ebonique. Passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Do you feel, Ebonique, like you are in the position of being a mentor, or that you are at a point where you're seeking a mentor in something specific? Because our life here, our spiritual experience of being human is ancestor training, by the way. Another reason that we should all be working and building our relationships with our ancestors. Ebonique. The shadow attributes of this is inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. So, what I'm getting, Ebonique, here is that there's something vital. There's some sort of message that I'm feeling like I do want to be a mentor. So it seems like there's some sort of vital thing missing in your life about mentoring, creating mentorship in a more formal way. And by formal, it doesn't have to be like a class. It doesn't have to be like, this day at this time all the time. But there's something like, it seems as if there's like a commitment. It seems like did you not fulfill a commitment at some point recently with someone, or did you pass something up that you really wanted to be a part of? Sometimes we pass up on the basis of jealousy. Because what I'm getting is that the door has been open for this, for you to be a mentor, and that it's actually vital, and that you actually have people waiting. So it just seems like what I'm getting is that there was a missed opportunity. And maybe maybe there's a little bit of ego involved in this missed opportunity, which is not a bad thing. This is a human thing. We all do it. This is not a shaming or a guilting. I do this as well. Was there something that was in your hands that you walked away from because of either jealousy or anger or because whatever it was, maybe whatever's coming alive for you as I'm saying this, maybe take a look at it again and reconnect with either that community or those people. Not necessarily get deep in with them or bond with them or whoever that person was, but there's some sort of doorway there with that person or that community that holds your path to becoming a mentor. Okay, I don't see any responses, so I'm gonna. I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna move on. I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, so I know some of you have been waiting, and thank you. Ebonique, let me know if you have more questions about that. April, Angeline. Ebonique, that was a good question, by the way. That was a really good question. I hope it was helpful. Okay, April, Angeline, what message do my ancestors have for me? April. Ebonique, if you have a question about that, now's the time. I don't want to sort of lose what we were just talking about, but it's kind of fleeting when I move on. Okay. This is going to be sort of general, April, because I don't know if there's like anything more specific than this. Okay. Wow, this came up again. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. I'm sorry. Communication. It came up again. I'll read it again. The frequency of communicating supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth, to stay in the flow of sourced and balanced exchange. So this is the second time today that I have gotten just images and images of water running. So whatever is alive in you and ready to break, you got to allow yourself to just let it out. Have you ever seen, this is so interesting. Have you ever seen like a beaver dam and then like when it breaks and like all the sticks, like if a broken beaver, all the sticks are like, shh. And like there's holes and it's just like, shh. And the river's just like coming out of it and all these like, it's not like flowing beautiful like this, it's just like shh, 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 it's breaking out. That is something that I want you to consider as far as what is coming out of you. Let go of your any perfectionism. And if you are already doing this, then allow yourself to do it even more intensely. Let go of, yep, she says, okay. So yeah, let go of any perfectionism. Be careful of distractions that sort of dam up your expression. And also have the confidence that what is coming out of you is absolutely perfect for what we need and who you are and what we're building. You can be righteous about it. That doesn't mean you have to be in a toxic, prideful way, but you can be righteous about it. And it doesn't mean you won't make mistakes, but you can be in your power and assertive about it. Let it break through. Don't hold back. Okay. Thank you. Let me know if that is what she's saying. Yep. Let me know if that's if that is on point for you, if that was helpful for you. Okay. Allison, I had a question earlier. I'm so sorry I missed it, but I think I'd like to scratch that and see if there is a card to help me sink into my next step to hold confidence in being in this location for this present time and maybe longer. April says, thank you. Okay, so Allison talking about her location. Okay. I'm going to like make sure, because I pulled that card twice. I just want to make sure I'm in integrity with me mixing up these cards here. All right. In present location. Woo, it's 8 p.m. PST. I had a woman, actually a friend of mine, stay on for one of these. I was like, "What time is it? Where you are?" She's in Indonesia. When I did this last week, and she was like, "Oh, it's like 4:00 in the morning." She just couldn't sleep, and she happened to catch me online. She never catches me online. It's like 4. It was awesome. Okay. Oh, can you see it? Passion. Thanks for the feedback, April, in that last reading. That hit home. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Allison. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance with this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let this long-lasting wisdom fill us up. You don't need anyone to make any decisions for you, which I feel like goes without being said, but I'm being called to tell you this. Wherever your passion takes you is where you should be. Now is a time to develop skill in what we're most passionate about. So, and that will determine your location. So if you are in this position where you're like, should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? Then that's not the question you should be involved with. What it's saying is that the question you should be involved with is what's most important to you in here. What is the skill? What is the wisdom? What is the skill you want to develop? What is the wisdom that is coming through you? Get real clear on that, like real meticulously clear on that. Don't let it stop your expansive motion and what you want to do with your life, but spend a little time on getting real specific on who I'm going to be, I'm going to be, what I'm going to create in this new world. The new world is coming. I'm building it. I'm the leader. What am I most passionate about? Am I willing to commit to it? I'll commit to it. Take me to where I need to go to commit to it. Then where you go, or if you say your go, should line up clearly. There shouldn't be a question about it. It's going to come from your passion and your fire. Does that answer your question, Allison? Does that help? I hope it does. Let me know. Friends, thank you for joining me. Thank you. Thank you for asking the questions. For those of you who just came in on the end of this video, please go back to the beginning of the video and watch. Watch and I hope that it helps you, me talking about Peaceful Warrior and having some of these hard conversations with family members, friends, and community. I do ask for reciprocation. Put lots of comments in the box, whether you're watching this now or later. And yeah, please check out the class. Early bird ends on Monday. Early bird ends on Monday. Go to my website. Check out Working with Your Ancestors in Spirit. I'd love to have all of you. We start live. The courses work at your own pace, but we do start live mentorship classes in July, from July through July and August. So I love you all. Mahalo, darling. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Allison says, thank you. Oh, that was nice. That's huge. It does help. I feel a bit frozen by pandemic movement, etc. I feel like I've been maybe just cooking in a way, finding the passion. Yeah, get clear on that. Now is definitely the time to do that. So for now, maybe stay. Unless you feel like you can do that as you're going, maybe stay and then you'll know. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. You are the Peaceful Warriors. You're born here on purpose. You're here on purpose in this time. Thank you. Come join me for breath exercises every day except for Sunday. We're taking tomorrow off. on my page, Alexandra Loves. Shoot me a DM. I am accessible. Mwah, mwah. I love you all. Bye.